As this video begins, someone has just died, right now, this exact second. Maybe in another city, maybe in another country, maybe close enough that if you opened your window you could hear the ambulance. You didn't know them. You will never know them. And here's the part you don't want to say out loud. You don't care. Not because you're cruel, but because you can't. Tomorrow you'll wake up, drink your coffee, complain about traffic, scroll your phone, and that person's death will never once cross your mind. Their entire existence, every birthday, every heartbreak, every dream they postponed, dissolved into nothing while you were deciding what to watch tonight. Now turn the mirror around, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. When your turn comes, and it is coming, it is already on its way, it has never once been late for an appointment, how many lives will actually stop? Count them. Be honest. Not the people who will post something, the coworkers who will sign a card, the people whose world will genuinely break. You can probably count them on one hand. And a few weeks later, even they will eat again, laugh again, argue about small things again. The human heart heals, and its healing is your erasure. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." But there's a darker truth hiding behind that sentence. You're not just wasting time, you're wasting it performing for an audience that will forget the show ever happened. Most of humanity will never know you existed. Say that again slowly. Most of the roughly 8 billion people alive right now will die without ever hearing your name. And a handful who did know you? Their memory of you has an expiration date too. Your children will die, your grandchildren will die, 2, maybe 3 generations, and then you become what your great-great-grandparents are to you right now. Nothing, a blank. Can you name them? Can you name even one? You are looking at your own future. Time erases names the way waves erase footprints in the sand, not with malice, but with something worse, total indifference. We live convinced that we are the main character. We plan the next 20 years as if we've signed a contract guaranteeing them. We accumulate possessions, we compete for recognition, we feed the ego, defend our pride, hold grudges like they're investments, as if we were building something eternal. And yet, look at where you're standing, an almost invisible speck on a planet roughly 12,700 kilometers wide, orbiting one ordinary star, one among hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way. And the Milky Way itself? One galaxy among hundreds of billions, scattered across an observable universe 13.8 billion years old. You are not the protagonist. You are not even a background extra. You are a flicker of static on a screen no one is watching. Imagine an infinite beach. Now pick up a single grain of sand and ask yourself, if this grain vanished right now, would the beach notice? Would anyone walking along it feel the absence? Could anyone even tell it apart from the trillions surrounding it? That grain is you. Not because the people who love you don't matter, but because against the scale of the cosmos, your entire existence is statistically indistinguishable from your absence. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, a man who ruled the known world, wrote this to himself. "Soon you will have forgotten everything. Soon everything will have forgotten you." He wrote it because even standing at the top of humanity, he could see the bottom of the truth. If the entire history of the universe were compressed into one calendar year, your whole life, your childhood, your first love, your career, your funeral, would occupy a fraction of the final second of December 31st. Before the cosmic clock could even register that you happened, you'd already be over. The stars will not dim when you die. Galaxies will not change course. Black holes will keep swallowing matter with the same appetite. New stars will ignite in silence. Space will remain exactly what it has always been, vast, cold, and profoundly uninterested in the name they carve on your tombstone. So here is the question that should keep you up tonight. What if the greatest discovery of your life isn't realizing how big you can become, but finally admitting how infinitely small you always were? Now let's talk about the thing you've spent your life doing, accumulating. There's an almost sacred stupidity in it. Human beings gather money, buy houses, stack titles, expand properties, guard bank accounts, and call it security. Security against what, exactly? Against hunger? Fine. Against old age? For a while. But against the abyss? Against the night the soul is called back? Show me the vault that has ever stopped that door from opening. Jesus told a parable of a rich man whose land produced more than he could store. So he made a plan: tear down the barns, build bigger ones, stockpile everything, and then rest for years. And that very night, a voice: "Fool, this very night your life will be demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be?" Sit with that question. Don't rush past it. Whose will they be? Because here is the brutality no one says at funerals. You are working yourself into the ground for people who did not earn what you're leaving them. You skipped your children's evenings to build the house they will one day sell. You destroyed your back, your sleep, your blood pressure for a property that a stranger will walk through after you're gone, opening your closets, commenting on your taste, negotiating your life's work down to a number. You missed the sunsets to pay for a view someone else will enjoy. And it gets darker. The savings you protected like a second heartbeat, someone will spend them casually. The heirs you sacrificed for might fight over your estate before your body is cold, siblings turning into strangers over the very money that was supposed to prove your love. The business you bled for will be run by someone who never lost a night's sleep over it or sold to someone who never knew your name. You worked harder for these things than anyone who will ever hold them. You paid in years. They will receive it in paperwork. And if you want to see your future with perfect clarity, go to an estate sale. Walk through a dead stranger's house on a Saturday morning. Watch people pick through a lifetime. The wedding china priced at $2 a plate. The tools he maintained for 40 years, dumped in a box marked everything $5. The framed photographs, his face, her face, their children's faces, flipped over and sold for the frame because nobody wants the photo. That is where your treasures are going, not to a museum of your life, to a folding table in your own driveway, handled by strangers looking for a bargain. The things you couldn't live without will be things nobody wants to live with. Even the deathbed knows this. Ask any hospice nurse what people reach for at the end. Nobody has ever asked to see their bank balance one last time. Nobody asks for the deed to the house or the keys to the car. They ask for faces. They ask for hands. They ask for one more hour of the exact thing they spent their whole life postponing in order to work. The final audit of every human life is conducted in a bed, and the assets you spent decades accumulating are not admitted into the room. You call a house mine, but it existed before you, and it will belong to someone else after you. It was never yours. You were just the current occupant, and the house knows it. You call a body mine, but it ages without asking your permission, betrays you cell by cell, and will one day refuse your commands entirely. You call time mine, but it leaks out of you even while you sleep, and no lock ever made has held a single second. The mystical horror is this: everything you are gripping so tightly is already in the process of saying goodbye to you. Accumulating in the face of the infinite is trying to hold fog in your fists. From the outside, it looks like prudence. From the inside, it's just fear. Fear that put on the clothes of wisdom and learned to call itself a plan. As Ecclesiastes puts it, the darkest book ever allowed into Scripture, I hated all my toil under the sun, seeing that I must leave it to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether he will be wise or a fool? Who knows? You don't, and you'll never find out. You'll be gone before the answer arrives. There's a question almost no one has the courage to ask. How much of the history of everything does your existence actually occupy? You were born believing 80 years is a whole lifetime, but that's only because you're measuring time with the only ruler you've ever owned, yourself. The universe uses a different ruler, 13.8 billion years. Compress it into a single calendar year and watch what happens to your significance. Billions of years pass in silence before anything even resembles life. The dinosaurs, creatures that ruled this planet for over 150 million years, appear only in the final days of December. All of recorded human history, every empire, every war, every religion, every love story ever told, squeezed into the last seconds before midnight. And your life? shorter than a blink inside that final second. The universe will not notice you arrived. It will not notice you left. You are a rounding error in the mathematics of eternity. Now understand what that means about how you're spending it. You spend decades worrying about the opinions of people who are also dying. You work yourself to exhaustion for positions that will be given to someone else the week after you vacate them, and your replacement will be found before your desk is even cleared. You nurse resentments for years, carrying someone rent-free in your skull while your one blink of existence burns away. You postpone the hug. You postpone the apology. You postpone the phone call to your mother, as if you had eternity in your account. You don't. You have an instant, and you're spending it in the waiting room. And here is something even more disturbing than death itself: the endings you never saw happening. There was a last time your mother picked you up as a child, and neither of you knew it was the last time. She put you down, and you never went back up. There was a last time you played with your childhood best friend, a last afternoon of a friendship that simply dissolved without a funeral. Your life is full of deaths that were never announced. Right now, today, you may be living one of those last times, a conversation, a place, a face, and you will only realize it years from now, if you realize it at all. Death is not one event at the end. It is 1,000 quiet events scattered through the middle, and you slept through most of them. Time has never made a single exception. Alexander conquered the known world, dead at 32, and his empire torn apart by his generals before his corpse was even buried. They fought over his body the way heirs fight over a will. Caesar, emperors, kings, geniuses, billionaires, beggars, every one of them walked into the same door, and the door did not ask for their resume. Some left monuments, most left nothing, and time rolled over all of it with the same expression it has always worn: none. Schopenhauer, the high priest of lucidity, said it without flinching: every life history is a history of suffering, and its final act is written before the first one begins. The universe doesn't speed up when you're born. It doesn't slow down when you die. That is why the ancient sages forced themselves to stare at their own mortality, not because they hated life, but because they understood the thing the ego will do anything to avoid knowing. Whoever truly grasps the smallness of their time stops wasting it trying to look eternal. Imagine that right now, this exact instant your heart stops. Your family will cry, genuinely, deeply. Some friends will feel the hole for a few weeks. Your name will be spoken, photographs revisited, old messages reread by someone sitting alone at 2 a.m. And outside that tiny circle, nothing. The baker opens the same hour. The planes cross the sky on schedule. Babies are born in maternity wards while your body is still warm. Thousands of people will laugh, really laugh, on the day of your funeral without the slightest idea you ever existed. Somewhere, a wedding. Somewhere else, a parent burying a child. Life continues, indifferent to both, and the universe stays exactly as silent as it has been for 13.8 billion years. And here is the cruelest detail, the one nobody puts in the eulogy. Your phone will keep receiving notifications after you die. Promotions, newsletters, reminders for appointments you will not attend. The machinery of your life will keep running for weeks, like a house whose lights stay on after everyone is left, until someone finally, quietly, cancels you. You believe you occupy the center of existence because you've only ever seen reality through your own eyes. But reality has no eyes. Your death is absolute. For you. For your family, a tragedy. For your friends, an absence. For your city, a line in a database. In a few years, a memory that surfaces less and less. For the planet, nothing. For the cosmos, not even an event. It doesn't even qualify as an event. The universe made no distinction between the birth of a king and the birth of a nameless child, and it will make none between the death of a genius and the death of someone no book ever mentioned. Matter obeys the same laws. Time moves at the same speed. Existence does not reorganize itself to acknowledge that you stopped. That is the ego's deepest wound, the one that spends a lifetime bandaging with achievements. Importance is not written into the fabric of the universe. It is written only into the story you tell yourself. And the universe has never once read your story. If you doubt any of this, run the experiment yourself. Walk into any old cemetery, walk past the recent graves, the ones with fresh flowers, and go deeper to the stones from 100 years ago. Read the names. Every single one of those names belonged to someone who was the center of a universe. Someone who fell in love, panicked about money, had a favorite song, believed their problems were enormous and their story was special. Now look at the stone, cracked, leaning, the letters half-eaten by rain. When was the last time anyone stood there? When was the last time anyone said that name out loud? There's a saying that every person dies twice. The first death is when the heart stops. The second death is the last time someone speaks your name. For most of those stones, the second death happened decades ago, and nobody noticed it either. That is what's waiting behind your name too. Not fire, not judgment, just a stone, and then not even the stone. We are not the center. We are a brief consciousness passing through an infinity that got along perfectly fine before us and will not pause even for a second after the last human being thinks the last human thought. And now the final illusion, the hardest one to kill because it's wearing your face. The belief that there is a solid self in here, a permanent you that must be defended at any cost. Almost all human suffering is born from guarding this invisible construction. We spend our lives defending a name, an image, a reputation. We want to be admired, remembered, recognized. We work beyond all need to accumulate symbols of importance. We envy the ones who got further. We fear the judgment of people who, read this slowly, will also be dead in a few decades. You are terrified of the opinions of corpses in waiting. It's a strange prison, and here's its cruelest design. The bigger the ego, the fragile the life. One criticism and your week collapses. One financial loss and an identity built over decades cracks like glass. Even aging becomes an emergency, a person watching the mirror like a hostage, feeling themselves disappear along with their own face. But ask the question no one dares to ask. If everything you use to define yourself can be taken from you, the body, the career, the reputation, the memories, even the face, then was any of it ever you? Your body replaces itself cell by cell. Your opinions have already betrayed their younger versions. Your memories are edited every time you touch them. There is no fixed thing in there to defend. You have been standing guard your entire life in front of an empty room. Cioran, the darkest voice philosophy ever produced, confessed, "It is not worth the bother of killing yourself, since you always kill yourself too late." The self you're protecting is already gone. It dies and is rebuilt every single day, and you never noticed because you were too busy defending it. And maybe that's where the door is. Not in strengthening the character, but in seeing straight through him. When the ego stops occupying the center, something falls silent. The need to prove your worth to a world that never once asked for proof. For the first time, it becomes possible to simply exist without racing time, without begging for recognition, without the exhausting performance of seeming extraordinary. True greatness is not a man becoming bigger. True greatness is a man finally accepting the size he always was, and discovering that the acceptance weighs less than the lie did. After all this, almost nothing is left standing. You are not the center of the universe. You do not control time. You possess nothing, not permanently, not really. Even the self you've served like a king your entire life will not survive intact. Every certainty has been taken out and shot. And it is exactly here, in the rubble, that a strange freedom is born. Human beings suffer because they demand from reality a promise it never made: permanence. We want love to last forever, the body to stay young, the name to outlive the centuries. But existence never signed that contract. We forged its signature ourselves and then spent our lives in rage that it won't honor a deal it never agreed to. Perhaps peace begins the moment we stop negotiating with the inevitable. The inevitable does not negotiate. It has never lost. There's an old reflection that says the fear of death only haunts those who still believe they possess life. But no one possesses life. We pass through it, tenants, not owners, and the eviction notice was signed the day we moved in. For billions of years, the universe existed without you and felt no absence. Then, for reasons so improbable they border on absurd, atoms forged inside dying stars arranged themselves into something that could open its eyes. For one brief moment, a small piece of the cosmos woke up and asked who it was. That's you. That consciousness was given a single instant, not to conquer eternity, not to defeat oblivion, not to build barns, just to witness. And when the instant ends, the silence that existed before your birth will simply resume, as if you had been a brief interruption in its sentence. So only one question survives all of this. Everything else burns away, and this remains. What will you do with the single instant in which the universe allowed you to know you were alive? You who made it this far, you're already part of this. This channel is kept alive by a rare community, lucid, courageous people who don't look away from the hard questions. If you feel you belong here, become a member of the channel. It's the most direct way to keep this project alive, and it gives you access to exclusive content and discussions. To those who are already members, thank you. You are the backbone of all this. If you'd like to support another way, super thanks helps enormously. But even just watching, commenting, or sharing, you're already part of it. And here, that matters. Thank you.